Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to play with some new Tom Ford launches. So recently he launched two new products from the Shade and Illuminate line. There is the Shade and Illuminate blushes, and I did pick up one. This one is in Explicite Flush. I wanted to go ahead, give this formula a try before purchasing any more. And I had many requests asking me if I was going to review the Shade and Illuminate concealer. And I was like, yep, I'm intrigued by this as well. So today I am going to be reviewing and demoing both of these products. I'm also doing a wear test with the concealer. So there will be a check-in of how this concealer wore on my more mature eyes. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about the new launches from Tom Ford, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm so excited about the new Shade and Illuminate concealer. So I don't have any foundation on, and I thought I would go ahead and use the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation. I was having trouble finding the right colors, so I have a sample of 4.7 that is cool beige, and so I'm going to put that on really quick before we move on to the concealer. Okay, here is a light layer of that Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in 4.7. And you guys can let me know if you think this is the correct shade. They have matched me a couple different times, but they weren't quite right. But I kind of think maybe Cool Beige is the one. I remember trying Champagne. That one actually was just a little too pink. Fawn was a little bit too, I think it was for olive skin types, and it pulled a little bit olive on my skin. So this is described as light medium with rosy undertones. And then for the concealer, we spent quite a bit of time looking for the correct match, and we landed on cream. So here is the star of the show, and it is in gorgeous packaging. It's very similar to their Luxe gloss. So I really love this packaging. The package is very similar to the lip glosses. Really beautiful, nice and sleek, and a bit weighty. Now there is lots of different shades to pick from in the concealer. It also made it a little bit harder to pick the right one, and we ended up landing on 2NO Creme. And here is a swatch of that color. So right away I noticed the consistency is a bit thicker and opaque than the actual foundation. So the actual foundation does not necessarily have a lot of coverage, whereas I'm finding that this concealer has a lot of coverage, but it has a really nice texture to it that includes hyaluronic acid. A little teeny goes a long way, and I will admit I've already worn this all over my face kind of as foundation. I think the tricky part is getting the correct color. I would actually say you need to go to the counter and have somebody match you. Now typically with concealers you want to go just a tad bit lighter, and you also want to counteract any redness underneath your eyes, so you may want to go just a teeny bit more warm or a little bit peachy. And what I found was that the creme did exactly that. The creme shade is actually described as fair with cool rosy undertone. Whereas the creme here is a bit more opaque. This is definitely a little bit thicker in texture, and it really does help counteract any of the darkness under the eyes. Now, we tried a couple different shades and we were finding that this one kind of blended in underneath the eyes the best. Gave it a little bit of brightness, but not too bright, because since I am in my 50s, definitely have wrinkles underneath my eyes. I don't really like to lighten up too much underneath there. I need a little bit of lightness. So it comes in a doe foot applicator, and what I recommend is literally start with just a few here. I'm going to come in here. Now, I will say this does still have that lavender scent that was also in the Tom Ford shade in Illuminate foundation, and I was personally a little bit upset with that. It does dissipate really quickly, but I was hoping that it did not have that lavender in the concealer because I have sensitive skin and I don't necessarily love the idea of lavender. Now, I will say it dissipates, and I have not had any issues with either the foundation or this concealer. It's just a personal preference. Now, if you can see, you guys, this is super high coverage, so I've already kind of put a little bit too much in, but I am going to use my fingertips and I am going to blend, bringing some down my nose. So far, this is a Nordstrom exclusive Tom Ford Crease Proof Concealer that helps boost skin's radiance and evens skin tone. This medium coverage, buildable, waterproof concealer merges three-dimensional skincare with three-dimensional radiance. This is infused with hyaluronic acid. It smooths, moisturizes, and obscures redness, dark under eye circles, and fine lines to create a flawless base for foundation. As you can see, I brought some down here. You can kind of see exactly where it's coming from underneath here. So I start with my fingertips here, and you will see it's going to give my under eyes a nice little lift and brightness. And if I take my fingers with this and I actually kind of pull it up to the side of the brow, I feel like it gives my eyes a little lift. Okay guys, I have brought you up nice and close. I'm not trying to scare you, but I want you to be able to see how this is performing underneath my more mature eyes. So clearly it's not going to take away your wrinkles, but I will say it does sort of smooth out the area. It feels very hydrating. So I was super surprised by how much coverage this concealer had, because the foundation does not necessarily have a lot of coverage. It's going to kind of blur your skin and give you a healthy glow, but it doesn't necessarily provide a ton of coverage, whereas the concealer has upped its game. Definitely can tell it's much more opaque here. It is definitely waterproof. I had gone to wash my hand, and as you can see, here is the concealer still on my hand. So I would have to remove this with makeup remover. So that part I think is very true. And I'm hoping that we actually got the right color, because you guys know I overthink this. We tried several different shades and I found that a lot of them were a bit more warm and yellow, whereas the creme color seemed to give me just a bit more of a peachy little pink undertone that I think is going to help counteract that blueness that I can get underneath my eyes. So I have been testing out this concealer for the past couple days. I have worn it just underneath my eyes, and then yesterday I actually kind of wore it like foundation. I just used the Tom Ford primer, and then I used this as kind of my all over foundation. I just kind of highlighted down my nose, my forehead, underneath my eyes and kind of used it all over foundation, and it wore really well throughout the day. It gave me a nice little glow and a lot of coverage. So I wanted to give you a little heads up that this literally can be used as concealer as well as foundation. A little goes a long way. So although this is $90 for this concealer, if you are going to get a shade that is also going to be similar to your skin tone, you can completely use this as both, like one-stop shop, and again gives you really nice buildable coverage. So what I will do is I will do a video using this all over my skin as foundation as well. It is a little lighter than the cool beige that I'm wearing on my skin, so I did have to bronze up just a bit more, but to be honest with you, I was sort of like, I'm just going to use this as foundation. That's how much I really liked the finish of the skin. Now I did pick up one of the Shade in Illuminate blushes. So excited for this launch, and I picked up the shade Explicite Flush, and I really was attracted to this because it basically has a really natural peach tone as well as a peach pink tone. So I'm getting a little bit of both the pink and the peach that tends to work well for my skin tone. I was looking at the Rose Bracken one, looks gorgeous. That one had already sold out at my Nordstrom, so I got what I could get first. I thought I would check out the formula, and then if we like it, we can buy a couple other shades. This is $90 for a blush, so definitely a splurge item, and wanted to give it a try first before investing any more money. So let me give you a swatch of these blushes, and I find that they swatch best on my fingertips here. So I love this shade right here. It gives me a nice little pop, and then we've got this beautiful tone right here, and you guys, the combination of these together just looks so pretty. It's going to give your skin exactly what it says, a little pop of flush. And when I combine them together right here, I just added them together on my hands, you're going to see it's going to give your skin a little bit of a glow. So let me show this on my skin. That tends to be the best way to show you the colors. So I'm going to start with the lighter shade so you can see that, and then we'll do a little pop of that peach. So here is this shade. So I'm in love with this light tone. I also used a little bit of this on my eyes today. Then I'm going to go into this beautiful poppy peach tone, and I am going to focus on the apples of my cheeks here. Then what I really loved is that it meshed with the base shade here, and as if you can see, it's giving me a little bit of a glow. So I just focused a little bit more on the apples with that bright pop for a real flush. And I find this tone to be a bit youthful. I went ahead and used a bit of this in my eye look today. A little bit of this color as well as this on the base of the eyelid. This went into my crease, so I sort of like the whole monotone look of this as well. So we've got that blush on, concealer, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of my favorite Tom Ford lipsticks. This is in their Lip Shine formula, and this is in Nubile. And this is a fantastic shade. I thought it would go with my sweater today and go along with this look. So we're going to put this on. And this is the shade Nubile. Then I admit I love their lip glosses. So when you're using this lip shine, you don't necessarily need to add a lip gloss, but I always like to just top it just a little bit. For an extra glossy look, you can combine the two of them or just use this lip gloss with your favorite liner. And I just love the shade Impulse. I think it goes with pretty much all lipsticks, you guys. It's just going to give you that little extra oomph on your lips. And here is this combination with Nubile and then Impulse in the Luxe gloss together. I often just wear Impulse with my favorite lip liner. It's such an easy look. They're just comfortable. They're glossy, but they're not gloppy. So I do want to give a little shout out to the lip glosses because again, these are Luxe, but they feel fantastic on the lips as well. Okay guys, these are the two new Shade and Illuminate products. So far I am loving both of these products. The blushes are gorgeous. Let me know if you picked any of these up, what your favorite shades are. I just kind of wanted to start with one because yes, this is a luxury product. These are expensive, but the formula feels very creamy and buttery, and these do last all day long. So I do love that formula where it's a little bit creamy on the skin. It's going to mesh with the skin, look nice and glowy, but it's not going to get eaten up by the end of the day. If you're going to be spending this much money on a blush, you want the product to stay on your skin as well. And I have found on myself this lasts pretty much all day long. Now I do have more dry, mature skin, and I'm also finding that this formula works really well. It's not too dry or powdery. It's also not too shimmery. It doesn't necessarily going to show a lot of texture on the skin. I just feel like it gives a nice kind of luminous look on the cheek. The Tom Ford Skin Perfecting Blush featuring one matte and one frost shade that delivers sheer to medium buildable coverage. This luxurious 2-in-1 powder cheek color is formulated with rice silk powder and delivers a light reflecting youth enhancing glow to the skin. The long-wearing multi-dimensional pressed powder blush sculpts and highlights your skin. The cost of these blushes are $90. Okay, this is the final look for the day. What I'm going to do is I have a busy day ahead. I'm going to be going on about an hour-long walk. We're also going to go run some errands. We are looking at sectional sofas, and we are going to go head out to Crate and Barrel. We're going to go look at West Elm. We are going to look at design from within, and I think room and board. If you guys have any brands of sectionals that you absolutely love, let me know. We're trying to streamline our living room. We have two mismatched couches currently in our living room, and we are kind of wanting to streamline that room, make it look a little bit more clean and put together. So that is our mission for today, and I'm going to come and give you a little check-in and show you how this concealer wears as well as the blush. So I will check back in a bit. Okay guys, I am home doing a little check-in on this concealer, showing you how the blush wore. I have had both of these on for about 7.5 hours. So pretty long wear test here. And I'm going to bring you in a bit and show you what the concealer looks like underneath my eyes. Now again, you guys, I'm older. I have wrinkles, and no concealer is going to take away wrinkles. But what I will say is I do feel like the coverage stayed underneath the eyes, but I do feel like it stayed brightened up underneath my eyes. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes concealer will wear a little bit and I'll start to see a little bit of blue peeking through underneath my eyes. But I felt like this one stayed in place almost as if it shifted with my skin, and from afar I felt like it did a good job of sort of blurring and giving a little bit of brightness underneath the eyes. And I did want to show you how the blush wore because to me it really stayed on my skin, and it still has that little pop on the apples of the cheeks. It's giving my skin a nice little glow. So I will say, yes, those blushes are expensive. The colors are gorgeous, but they do last all day long. But I will say I think these are fantastic for mature skin. Oftentimes I will lean on more cream products because they are a little bit more forgiving on the skin, but they don't always last all day long. So I will often have to top the cream blush with a powder blush, whereas this is a little bit of the best of both worlds. You are getting the longevity of a powder, but the formula definitely has a creamy, buttery feel to it. And when you combine the two colors together, you really do get a pretty luminous flush. So these are definitely expensive products for a blush and a concealer. These are Tom Ford. This is luxury beauty. You are paying for the packaging and the name as well. But so far, I have to say, I have really been enjoying both products. I have not been like, ugh, this was a total waste of money. And yes, I am a YouTuber. Part of my job is purchasing these kind of products so that I can give you a review and let you know whether it's worth your money or not. But if you are into luxury beauty and you really like Tom Ford products, I think you will be pleasantly surprised with this launch. And again, with the concealer, you can literally use this underneath your eyes, but as foundation as well. It looks gorgeous on the skin. A little goes a long way. So although this is super expensive for a concealer, of course there's plenty of other great concealers out there. This is really nice and multi-purpose. So I so far have no regrets purchasing these, and I'm tempted to pick up another one of these because I really like the finish and look on the skin. So let me know if you have a combination that you would love for me to show. I know that the Rose Bracken one that I had my eye on was sold out at Nordstrom, but I'm sure other retailers are going to be getting these soon. So just let me know, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with another video soon.